Hello everyone. In this session, I'm going to discuss with you about the minor project that you're going to do under Biocomputing with SAS practical course. In this session, I'm going to explain you the data that is available for your project. How are you going to start with this data? The method of execution, how you are expected to execute your project. I'll give you some tips and tricks that you need to incorporate while executing the project, when you have to submit and how that report should look like, then how we are going to evaluate your project. So you are given with the document. Two documents have been provided to you. One problem statement, one word file it has been given. It's a first page. It gives you about the background and about the data set that has been provided, some description. Go through it, read the details, they are self-explanatory. The data for this is given in the form of an Excel sheet. So go through the Excel sheet parallel to the description when you're reading it. Then you are given with the two information in the word file in the page number 2, that is analytics requirements and mock shell. Now this is an open-ended project, but you will be using common data for everyone. All batches, all project groups will make use of the same data sheet, but the analytics requirement and mock shell will vary from batch to batch, which you have to prepare. For that, I have provided one sample. A sample is provided in the page number 2 for analytical requirements and mock shell. Some explanation is written under analytical requirements. Some data tables are drawn. Some requirements are mentioned under mock shell. So in detail I am going to explain you, but keep it in mind, these two information, that is analytics requirement and mock shell, which is there in the page number 2, you have to recreate. You have to plan and you have to design your own requirement and for the mock shell requirements, analytical requirements. That is why I call it as open-ended project. So you have chances of using your creativity over here. So that is how all 16 teams will have 16 different requirements. So you will have 16 independent works, but for all of them the data sheet remains same. Now the analytics requirement, what is shown there is to have a plan. So you need to have a layout of the report, how your final report should look like. You should know that. So you will be having a design of your report, how it should look like. The explanation of that point by point you'll be writing in the analytical requirements. So minimum we expect you to have one tabulation, one frequency table and one graph. One graph, one table, one frequency table. This is the minimum requirement to submit the project. But it doesn't stop you to explore beyond this. More number of tables, more graphs, different types of graphs. Don't use same type of graphs. Different types of graphs you can have. So that may increase your chances of improving your team grade. So having a minimum value, it entitles you to submit. Having more than the minimum requirement entitles you for higher grades. So the mock shell, it provides a sample table how exactly your report should look like. Maybe a title, footnote, a graph, a table, all those things you can add it. The one which is given in the page number 2 of the Word document is just a sample, something that is helpful for you to create your own. Now this must be in line with the analytical requirements. So analytics requirements, what you are writing, that is in sentences, same thing appear in the form of a table in the case of mock shell. So these two things, mock shell and analytics requirements, go hand in hand. They are one and the same, explaining it in different way. So mock shell provides you how exactly output looks like. That's the difference here. For example, decimals .xx, for example 2-digit xx .xx, that means 2 decimals, 3 decimals, and order of column, in which order the column should appear, which column should appear, which column should not appear. You have to draw. Name of the variable using label. You may use a label to give the column variable name, that is column name as one particular way, where the variable is different one. For example, USN, expanded way you can give it, right? So that thing you can give it in the mock shell. How exactly your column name should appear, which you will be using it later in the label within the Proper data step. what exactly to be printed, what and all things have to be printed, data, graph, all those things you have to provide it in the mock shell. So finally your report should look alike mock shell. That's what is the requirement. So ensure that you have used most of the steps, proc step, data step. Within proc step you have many proc steps there, then statements, options, so many things you have learned in lab number 2 to 12. Lab number 10, 11, 12 is on graph, so that will be easier, and another 1 to 2 weeks we will be finishing that also, which you can include in your work. So you are not restricted to only this much, you can explore beyond. So while executing the project, the main intention, the goal is to have a learning experience. We expect you to have some experience in working together in a team, a corporate exposure, and coding experience, how to code, the logical flow that you are expected to learn. To achieve that, you need to plan first. So plan means plan the logical flow, how your work should flow, what should come first, what should go next. So what are the requirement, what are the requirement in sense here, mock shell, all those things you will have to plan beforehand. Then the team leader has to take a lead here. He has to assign the roles for individuals, who does what next, all those in sequences you have to plan it. So the assigning the role is an important component in your teamwork. Then you will start writing the code. The code writing is not one day activity, it may take over about 1 week or 2 week or 3 weeks. So over the time you will write and improvise your codes. So this is a teamwork, and also don't forget to write the comments. Comment section is very important, so you can write a comment exclusively, so that when anybody who reads it, it's so explanatory. It doesn't end over there, so you have to review what and all component you have done. You have to review for whether the comment is proper, is there any error, check the issues for any code in the code, whether you have any errors there, or whether there is any logical error, syntax error, logical error. All these things you have to verify it in the review stage. Let me explain it one by one. So I'll give you some tips and tricks when you execute this. So in the planning stage, the team leader will take the initiative. You can create a WhatsApp group of your team so that you can discuss in the group. First thing you have to do is study the data, that is faculty demographics explanation in the Word file and Excel sheet. Study it, what and all things are there. Then you create your problem statement and mock shell. Then go for the logical flow, how it should work, how you should work. So information, that is 10 and 10 and 12 lab, that is on graphs and plotting the graphs, that also you can add it to the mock shell, which I will be giving you a little detail in the interaction video. In the after this I will have an interaction with video with the team leaders, so there you will get a little more idea about this. So team can make minor corrections in the data sheet. I have given you the Excel sheet, you can make a minor correction, but some dummy names I have given, like name 1 to name 60. You can rename it, you are flexible enough to rename it. While giving the name, ensure that some data which is already existing match there. For example, gender. So when you write a name, the name should be matching with the gender. You can add extra columns, the columns such as something like somebody has left the college, some conferences papers are published, some additional information that you think that can be added there. You can add it, you're free to add it, but ensure that you have made use of those improvisations in the Excel sheet. Minimum what is there, you can make use of that. Then teamwork. Team can classify and assign works. So how you can divide the works. For example, writing the codes, what components of the code, not whole code written by one person, components of the code, logic planning, the comment writing part, reviewing. Somebody has written the comment, somebody else will read it and give you the review it, whether it has to be improved or something is misleading there. Okay, so sectioning kind of thing. Then solving the execution errors, you can find the logical errors if it is existing, and most important, you have created the mock shell, you have to verify with that, so the team can divide the work within this. So while writing the code, this is my suggestion, in SAS ODA, on demand academics online version, the team leader can create a course. I think I have already explained you. Anyways, in the next demonstration interaction, I'll give you the idea, key idea here. So you can create a course. You will generate a code, course code there. Course name you can give it as your project ID only. That course detail, that is code, can be shared with the team member. They can join the course. Now in the SAS Studio, when you open the SAS Studio, this is in the dashboard. This will be happening in the dashboard. In the SAS Studio, when you open it, you will get you can find a shared folder. Now once you do this, you will get a shared folder. Within the shared folder, you can create a folder with your project ID. You can have multiple folders, file, everything that you used to do earlier within that particular folder. Now what is the advantage? When the one who has joined the course can access same file in their login ID, right? So virtually you can work together on the same document, same program file, same data sheet you can work on. Now ensure that you have written proper comments at relevant places, and in the first part of the code, when you write it, you can on the top of it program SAS program file, you can write team number, your names, your problem statement briefly as in the form of comments. You can write it. Between the sections you can write what this section do, what why that steps and additional comments, so you can provide it there so that you can explain it in detail. So the review, there are different types of review. One is comment review, whether the comments are understandable and proper. Structure review, whether the code that is written, for example, proc and data step when you're writing, it is aligned, that is proper alignment is there. So that alignment you can verify it, whether it is proper. Logical review, whether there is a proper logical flow. Is there any missing file that you are calling for? Are you creating some extra file which is not at all used? Whether the library is proper, all those things you can review using the logic review phase. Then finally you have to verify with the mock shell. So ensure that everything comes properly, even though sometimes you have the logical error, output will come. So ensure that you don't have the logical error at the end. When you submit the report, what and all it should contain? So one single PDF you have to submit, which contains these things. One is cover page. Cover page is already provided to you in the problem statement. The first page of problem statement Word file is your cover page. So you just have to change your team number, name in that particular page. In the footer there is a team ID. You can write the team number there also. Whereas anything that is written in the page number 1, other than that, everything let it remain same. Same thing will be the cover page. Page number 2 is analytics requirement and mock shell. A sample is already given to you. You have to replace that with your own analytics requirement and mock shell. That will form the page number 2. So page number 1 is cover page, page number 2 is analytic requirement mock shell, followed by this document. You have SAS program file. Save that program file in the form of a PDF. That is your part 3. Then you get output. The output that you get, make use of proc export PDF, export PDF, you use it. So all that mock shell what you created, what result you want, convert it in the form of a PDF. So you will get some 3-4 documents here, combine it, club it into a single PDF, so that you can upload only one PDF. The file name of that PDF should be team number. So give the team number as the file name, upload it to the Moodle under project section. Then you also have to submit this program file as it is, that is program the team number you provided, team number.sas. This program file also should be submitted. Now the submission, the entire group need not do it. The team leader on behalf of the team will submit these 2 documents. Only 2 documents need to be submitted on the date of project submission. Timeline. To do these activities, we have already prepared the teams. So you will work up to maybe about 12th May or so. So tentatively I have given the end date, that is submission date, as 12th May. It is slightly flexible. So as of now, let me keep it as 12th May. Depending upon the situation, we may have to revise this. Then a team presentation, that will be a presentation of the project after the submission. So there will be any 2 days, the teams will be called and will be asked to present. After that presentation only you are supposed to submit the hard copy. So do not take any printout of any document till your presentation is over. So then only you will have to submit the hard copy. You may be asked to do some corrections during the presentation, which you have to incorporate before submission of the hard copy. Now how does the evaluation goes on? The evaluation is done this way. Whether you have used most of the statement, I have asked you to use the statement, command, options that you learned in lab number 3 to 12. Whether you have used them, whether you have made good use of that, effective usage of that, That is minimum requirement. Whether the team has met minimum requirement, you have to make one tabulation, one frequency table, and one graph minimum, right? So if you are not done it, your project is incomplete. So minimum requirement, whether you have met, then meeting the minimal requirement does not mean that you should be given full marks. Your total mark depend on many other things, not only this. Okay, so this entitles you to attend the presentation or submission stage. Additional usage of statement beyond this, if you use some statements and logic that you use, then correct usage of and proper usage of some comments at appropriate places, you use the proper comment. These are all included in the weightage for the evaluation. Not only simply writing the code. If you write only the code and no proper logic or no proper correct usage of comments, then you are likely to lose some grades over there. It is to be noted that not only the output, the final mock shell output what you get there, not only that, you have written a program, your teamwork, how you have worked, that also will be evaluated. There will be some questionnaire which you will have to answer, which identifies how you have done the teamwork. Okay, so that also accounted for grading. There will be a presentation after the submission. Once you have done the submission, there will be a presentation. Please note this very carefully. Especially team leader, randomly any one of the team member will be asked to present for about 10 minutes. Total there will be 10 minutes. In this presentation, you are expected to explain starting from your data, if you have done any modification, then your analytics requirement and mock shell. Then coming to the program part. In the program part, you will tell the logic what you have used, specifically logic. I would like to know the logic and some sections that you have created. You will have to execute and show the report. So that's the requirement of this presentation. Now randomly any one team member can be asked. So ensure that all the team members must be equally prepared. So it's not that anyone is prepared and he presents or she presents, the others get the mark. So we will pick the student before the presentation. So ensure that everybody is equally prepared. Poor representation of your teamwork by that one person may fetch lower grade to your whole team. So ensure that you have prepared the team properly. Now doing this activity, perks for good teamwork. You have done a good teamwork, well executed, well presented. Yes, you will get very good grades for that, maybe out of out. Team leaders who has to take lead in this activity, so obviously you will be given additional perks. So if your team performs very well, you will get 10% extra marks grade as a bonus point for you. And additionally, we will be giving the best project in each lab batch. There are 4 batches, A, B, C, D. In each 4 batches, best project will be selected based on how you have performed. You may be rewarded suitably for that. So ultimately, we would like to introduce these things for you as a learning opportunity. You consider this as a project execution as you do it in the corporate world. So there will be teamwork, there will be perks and incentives, there will be a hard work that everyone has to put in the presentation, right? So all these are corporate culture. So you are working in a team, you will be given exploring opportunity. You are given with the proper opportunity here, because you can create the data that you want, right? Based on the basic data information that is given, you can create the analytics requirement, you can create the mock shell. So opportunities provided to you, make best use of it. Plus you can strengthen your coding skills, you can learn something new, how to make use of this coding, how to make use of logic, not only for programming, beyond coding also. That logic, all these activities will help you out. So consider this as an opportunity for doing these things. Alright, so I anticipate that you will put up a good teamwork, all 16 teams. All the best. That's it for this video. Thank you.